Is learning sihr lawful? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Our followers of Dhikr of Allah channel, welcome all of you. Al-Hafiz ibn Hajar reported the verse, "We, the jinn, are but a temptation, don't disbelieve," indicates that learning sihr is an act of disbelief. Ibn Qudama reported that learning or teaching sihr is an unlawful act, is a controversial issue among scholars. As far as we know, the Hanabalites hold that a person becomes an unbeliever if he learns to practice sihr, whether he believes in sihr as lawful or unlawful. According to Al-Razi, researchers in the subject of sihr agree that knowledge of sihr is not shameful nor unlawful, on the basis that seeking knowledge is an honorable pursuit itself, and also on the basis of the general meaning of the verse, say, "Are those with knowledge and those without knowledge equal?" Furthermore, if sihr were not accessible to learn, it would not to be possible to distinguish it from a miracle's work, and knowledge of whether or not something is a miracle is obligatory. Therefore, acquiring knowledge of sihr is obligatory, and what is obligatory cannot be unlawful or shameful. According to Al-Hafid ibn Kathir, there are however arguments concerning Al-Razi views. First, if Al-Razi means that learning sihr is not shameful, logically then their opponents of sihr among the Mu'tazilists deny such a view. However, if he means that learning sihr is not shameful legally under Islamic law, then learning how to practice sihr has been commanded in the following verse, and they follow what the Satans recited over Sulaiman's kingdom. Sulaiman disbelieved not, but the Satans disbelieved, teaching the people sorcery. And in general, in the following hadith, "And whosoever has sought the services of clairvoyant or sorcerer has in fact disbelieved in the message sent to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, transmitted in Al-Bukhari, and whosoever ties a knot and blows into it has committed an act of sihr transmitted in the Sunan." Second, how can it be that researchers on the subject of sihr agree that knowledge of sihr is not unlawful, whilst the Quran and the Hadith warn against its learning? Furthermore, agreement among researchers requires evidence which proves that the leading scholars, or most of them, hold that it is not unlawful to learn it. But where are their views, moreover including the learning of sihr in the meaning of no in the verse? Say, are those with knowledge and those without knowledge equal? Is disputable because this verse praises scholars who are learned in the disciplines of the Islamic religion. Also, the view that knowing the work of a miracle is dependable on learning sihr is weak and incorrect. This is because the most magnificent miracle that happened to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was the revelation of the Quran. Therefore, knowledge of the Quran as a miracle doesn't necessarily depend on learning sihr. Another argument is that it is common that the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, scholarly predecessors, contemporary leading Muslim scholar and ordinary Muslim would know a miracle's work and would distinguish it from other acts, and they didn't have to know sihr, learn or teach it. Abu Hayyan stated, "The sihr which glorifies other than Allah, such as planets and demons, is unanimously an act of disbelief, and therefore it is unlawful to learn or use. Therefore it is unlawful to learn or use also. The sihr which intends to kill or separate between a husband and his wife or between two friends is unlawful to learn or use. Even the sihr which has purpose other than those stated above shouldn't be learned nor used. In addition, charlatanism, magic, and the like must not be learned because they are part of falsehood even if they are used as means of entertainment. This is a sound view which should be relied on as far as learning sihr is concerned. To here we finished our video for today. If you like this video, don't forget to press like for this video and don't forget to subscribe our channel. And assalamu alaikum.